It's time for Friday Night Funk. And man, I had a week of funk. Man, I had a hellacious week. So glad to get away from it. But you know what I like to do when I've had a hellacious week? I like to look at some baseball cards. So, let's delve in. I put on a band that, man, you just don't hear about anymore, and I haven't listened to them in a very long time for this episode of Friday Night Funk, and that's the Average White Band. So let's delve in and see some things. So here we have a box of Milk Duds with a Louis Aparicio on it. And here we have a box of Milk Duds with a Fergie Jenkins. Of course, Fergie was Canadian. He was the only Canadian-born player in the Hall of Fame for a long time, till Larry Walker joined him recently. I have this really cool thing. I don't know if you guys ever saw this before, but this is still in its package from 1971. It's an instant replay, and they were little record albums, little mini ones. And I guess this is a Mattel. I guess it came with a little mini player, and you would play these discs on there. So that's football ones there. They made them for basketball and baseball. Here's Willie Stargell, and I guess this is a rarer version. Those have, most of them have just a plain black record type of back, but this one it's a double-sided image back. Got to get my hands on one of those little mini players. And how about this Star Wars Error card? They call it the Goldenrod version of C-3PO. Got a 1949 card here. It's a great set. Have a 1962 Johnny Callison. We have a Marcel Dion, great hockey player. Now we have a Sada Haruo. This, I believe, is from 1974. And these are Calbee cards. And that company was kind of like the Topps of Japan. They came around a little later. You know, most of the ones you're familiar with, they made three basic kinds, and then there are some other ones. But first they came out with what they called the bromides. And the bromide cards are named after the kind of the black and white photography. And then they came out with the Menko. And the Menko also have cartoony images, but this is an example of a Menko. So in the, I guess, 40s, late 40s maybe, 50s, 60s, these were popular up until the 60s, and then the Menko got real popular. And then the Calbees are mostly from, I think, the late 60s through the 70s. Actually, that still might be the brand that makes them now. But this is a really cool Sada Haruo. Then we have some 1977 cards. Showed you an O-Pee-Chee of Richie Hebner. And man, I know I had this card. I know I did. But when I went looking, because when I showed you the O-Pee-Chee version, I wanted to show you the regular version too, to see how they airbrushed it. And I couldn't find it anywhere, so I don't know whatever happened to it. So I had to get one. And I got a Pete Rose here. Of course, I already had this card, but this one's really sharp. And this just reminds me of my youth. I had to pick up another one. And then I have 277 Topps cloth. One is Louis Tiant. I think this is one of the harder ones to find in this set, actually. And Cesar Cedeno. This is a good-looking card. And we have a 1961. And a 58 of Herb Score. Of course, he had a brilliant rookie season, good second season, and then, he got hit with the ball, and he was never the same after that. When he came up, one of the great stories in baseball, he came up like Mark Fidrich or Fernando Valenzuela, like it's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Here's a Jim Butler. He was a good running back for the Steelers. Of course, their team stunk back then, but he was one of the bright spots. Played for other teams as well. And we have a 1963 Juan Marichal. And we have this 1914 Fatima. He's regarded as like the best offensive catcher of that era. And I showed you one of these a while back, and I showed you that I have a tin, an old, I guess it was cigarettes, an old tin. I'm not sure, if cards came in this specific one, but it was certainly similar. And hold on for me for 1 second. Listen to the music. I have a few other things to show you. I forgot to bring them over. A 55 Eddie Matthews. Great card. And this 62. And I have another Marcel Dion. Great card. This set is, for hockey, these cards are pretty cool. They kind of remind me of the 75-76 football. Same kind of images for hockey. And a Bobby Clark for you Flyer fans. A great card. And I have a 1960 Herb Score. And somebody sent me this, so for all you 90s fans, there you go. So that is what I have for you today. Have a great Friday night. Thanks for watching.